Guys, thanks for coming out and covering the team. Appreciate you. Appreciate you doing that. I was really proud of our guys. I thought they chopped through the. Our big thing was we got to chop the moment. We can't let anything that happens in the past or any concern about the future get in the way. And I thought we did that. I was really going into the game. I thought they did a great job defensively. Their scheme, their guys, their players. And, it took a little while to get it going. But our guys that's what chopping is. Just keep doing it and it'll work. And I was pleased as a team we did that because there wasn't anything easy. Everything was earned. But hats off to Akron. And it's good to be 1-0 in the Akron season. So I'll open it up.
Greg, second start for Ethan. How do you think he fared, and how do you think he fared in the passing game as well?
I thought he did well. I thought he got hit on the interception and kind of affected the throw. I thought our receivers did a good job. I thought they ran better routes this week than a week ago. They fought for the ball better with better extension. So it's a work in progress for sure. But we have some really good young receivers, and then we have some older guys as well. So I like the mix.
Chris Long had that great touchdown catch. He's had an interesting story here, right? Battling back from some injuries. What made him stand out this summer to get him back kind of in the starting role and get things going again?
Well, you're right. Chris has had a bumpy road for sure. And, we've had a lot of serious, good talks over the years. But he just made a decision that he was going to, it could be discouraging, right, when all those things keep happening to you. And he just made up his mind that he was going to come back and give it everything he had with no regrets and see where the chips fall. And I'm happy for him that he's having success.
200-yard day for Kyle. I mean, I'm probably running out of adjectives for him at this point. I mean, does anything about what he's able to do surprise you at this point anymore?
No, I mean, he is a really patient runner, has great vision, and then when he decides to go, he's violent. I mean, he gonna go. I thought our offensive line, I think they're just getting better and better every week. They're working at it in practice. Our pad level's a little bit better every week. And, that's, when you get tired, your pad level starts to come up. So it's part conditioning, it's part technique. But it's a good mix, that line, and they take care of him. I mean, that's their guy. So, yeah, it's good stuff.
Between Chris Long's long touchdown, a couple of deep passes to Dymere Miller, were you encouraged with your offense's ability to kind of stretch the field today and what they put on tape?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I told you last week we had a couple called, and they just – sometimes the coverage is such that you're not going to do it. You're not going to force it. Today we got some looks that were more favorable, and I think the long one to Chris, that ball was in the air maybe 45 yards. I mean, that was a jet. So, sure, I call it flyover yards. You fly over a lot of problems when you make those kind of plays. You don't get holding penalties. You don't get illegal procedures. You don't get TFLs, right? And you just go flying over it. So when you can do that, it's helpful for sure.
Ben Finley only threw for 138 yards today. What do you think was working for the defense against the air game?
Well, I thought the D-line, supplied pressure, which is always the most important thing, right? If you can put pressure on the quarterback. We didn't always structurally do it correctly, and he got out a couple times. But I thought the coverage was good, too. I thought Robert Longerbeam really covered well. I thought our safeties did a good job. We had a bust there, one bust that we got to make sure we fix. But overall, I thought the defense, again, played well. We can play better on defense, and we will.
Once upon a time, Rutgers had a Heisman campaign for a running back. Are we at the point where we should be talking about Kyle Monangai in the conversation of the best players in college football?
I think you just did. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I'm not really into that, and Kyle isn't into that. But you're right. I mean, if he continues to play at a level like he is, then I think that stuff takes care of itself, really. I know this. Winning games is a huge contributing factor to that as well. So as a team, we need to continue to improve and win games.
Coach, After halftime, they come out, opening drive, they score a touchdown. However, you guys answer with a touchdown of your own. 6 plays, 75 yards, 6-minute drive. What does that say essentially about the resiliency of this team and just what type of confidence does that build in your offense?
Well, I thought that was really big in that game, right? Because you're talking, it turns into an 11-point game, right? So it's a 2-score game. And like you said, we answered the bell. That was an important answer of the bell. And again, I've always told our team, games take on a life of their own. You look at it and say, how did that get out of control like that? That was huge. To go score with that drive was I think the most important part of the game.
Hey, Greg, just going back to Kyle for a second. When you have a back who can not only get you the tough yards, but get you to the big chunk yards when those opportunities arise, how important is that for an offense to have a back who can do that?
Yeah, I think, again, explosive plays are critically important, right? Because, like I said, if you have to have a 16-play drive to score, you almost have to be perfect, and none of us are perfect. So when you get those chunk plays, whether it's flyover yards or it's big runs like Kyle has supplied at times, it's hugely important to your overall success as an offense.
Obviously a little unique to have a bye week after 2 games, but is it coming at a fortuitous time given how banged up you guys were, obviously coming out of camp, and guys are still dealing with some ailments here and there?
Yeah, it is. And we may have 1 or 2 more today, so we'll continue to work it. But, the way we operate is that's part of football, and we know that. We have a great medical staff here, that I think the best in America, and they tell me, hey, here's the best case scenario, here's the worst case, and usually it falls somewhere in between there, and that's how we do it. We don't lament over, we don't have this guy or we have that guy. You just got to go. You got to move forward. I thought Antoine Raymond stepped up, right? We don't have Sam. Antoine steps up now and really did a good job. So, I think that's the mentality you have to have. You fill that pipeline with players, and those guys got to be chomping at the bit for their chance, their opportunity.
Malcolm Ray, I know he had that big sack, but also just his willingness to take on multiple blockers as well seems like it led to a little bit more of an effective pass rush. Can you just speak to his impact today?
Yeah, Malcolm's worked really hard since he arrived here. He's changed his body. He's really gotten to become a finely conditioned defensive lineman. And, coming off, I know he was disappointed coming off his performance last week. And we talked a lot about, just chop your job and the plays will come to you. And I think that's what he did today. There's a saying we have, see a little, see a lot. As a D lineman, the old linemen tell you everything. You don't need to see a whole bunch. And if you'll just have the discipline to react to what he does, all of a sudden plays just come to you. And I think that's what happened with him today. I didn't, quite honestly, I can't see anything in there. But I didn't even know that he had the sack because I'm usually looking at the secondary, see if we got him covered or not. But, yeah, I heard the guys told me in the locker room that he had a sack, which was great.
1, 2, 3, 4.
KJ Duff gets his first career touchdown. What does that do for a young player who I believe you said a couple times he had a good preseason, but for him to have a touchdown, have the results, what does that do for a young player's confidence and moving forward?
Yeah, it's we were very fortuitous there, right? I mean, wow. The ball bounces right off their guy. I didn't really see it. They told me that. I didn't see the play. But KJ is a big target, and he's got really good hands. So as he, Coach Brock and Coach Perry, as they keep getting him better and better fundamentally, he's got the it. I mean, he and Ian Strong are going to be 2 really good receivers going forward. It's going to take a lot of work, but it'll happen.
Did Sam Brown re-aggravate the injury from last season, and are you concerned about him moving forward?
Well, you never know with injuries, right? I mean, I'm not going to get into the injuries. That's what the availability report's for, but we're just going to have to wait and see what the status is. But as I said, I was really proud of Antoine. He stepped up and performed very well.
Going back to Ethan, he seemed to take more shots down the field today. Was that something by design, or did he just see it and take it?
Well, you don't just see it. I mean, the play's got to be called. He wouldn't last long out there if he just started taking shots on his own. But Kirk, I thought, called a great game. I mean, you go over 500 yards in offense, that was good. But it's all about the players executing. And I think there was a couple times that we had opportunities that either we got hit the one time and it was an interception, And there was another time that we had a guy and didn't quite get it. I thought it, it's a little gray there when Ian Strong was on that nine ball there, but it is what it is.
Another good game for Antoine Raymond. You kind of touched on it before, but what can you say about the work that he's done in the running back pecking order, especially in limited time as a late reclassification?
Yeah, I mean, he's strong, as you can see. He's going to be a really good running back. He has that physicality that is Big Ten football. Like, you don't just hit him and he goes down very much. He's usually falling forward, and that's a great trait to have as a running back. So, yeah, I'm encouraged. The most important thing is he's taking care of the football. As a young back, sometimes you start to worry about production and forget about the most important thing, the football. He's been good with the ball, so we got to just keep coaching the heck out of that, and he's got to keep, valuing that ball more than any yard. So far, so good.
In the Scarlet Walk, you had a little embrace with Eric. You had a few moments with him. Just, was there more emotion in this game for you? And what was just kind of the emotion of having that and everything around this game today?
Yeah, well, I didn't get to see the pregame, the walk, but I want to thank everybody. The guys told me there was like 1,000 people following him down the Scarlet Night Way, and all those people did that, raised money for the Believe Foundation. So I think, first, a big, huge thank you to everybody who did that. It was a great event. Karen, his mom, who, we've been through a lot together, she was truly elated. She said, this was the best one we've had. And that made me feel good. And Eric, you could tell Eric had his game face on, but you could tell he liked it too. But Eric's a football guy through and through, so I was really thrilled that had they had a great event, and then to be able to win the game convincingly like we did, that's a really good Saturday. So, again, guys, I appreciate you covering our team, and get a week off, and then we're back at it. Thanks.